We all know the song Amazing Grace, right? Well, do you know the history behind it? The hymn Amazing Grace was created by a man named John Newton, who has a pretty interesting backstory. As a kid, John renounced his faith, saying in a letter, "Like an unwary soldier who quits his post just before a rising storm, I renounced the hopes and comforts of the gospel at the very time I needed it most." He joined the Royal Navy and fell in love with a woman named Catlett. However, John soon left her and the Royal Navy and began a career in slave trading on a slave ship. Around March in 1748, a violent storm struck the ship John was aboard. The storm was so powerful it washed away a man who had been standing right where Newton had been. John Newton and the rest of the crew came up with an idea to tie themselves to the boat. "If this will not do, then Lord have mercy upon us," John Newton said. Their idea had worked, and the crew quickly returned to working on the ship, but John Newton couldn't stop thinking about the act of mercy God displayed for him. John Newton began reading books about Christianity and slowly began to return to his faith. He believed God sent him a message by sparing him and wondered if it was even possible for God to forgive him for upright renouncing his faith and telling people God was just a myth. In 1750, at the age of 30, Newton married Polly and stopped sailing. 6 years later, Newton taught himself theology and became so passionate about Christ, he became a priest. "To break a hard heart and to heal a broken heart," was his message. Newton had an incredible effect on people who endured similar experiences as him. The lyrics of Amazing Grace were published on January 1st, 1773, and most likely used first in prayer meetings. John had decided on the name Amazing Grace because he was saved by God's amazing grace, and it's that grace that sets God's people free when we finally accept it ourselves.